Name it. Oh, and it is live, I believe. Okay, open chat. Set the board. And then light Angie. So I need to make Kugel and Maddie some trophies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Oh. All right, so I've got the stream running now. We don't need to have anything other than the logo because I'm just talking. So for now, it'll just be my audio. So basically, what I want to say to everyone regarding the next season is that there's a few changes that are going to be made. The most notable is going to be the way that the rankings are going to be done. It's going to be based off of a win percentage now instead of total token gains. So what that means is that if you attend a fight, then that is a potential 20 tokens you could win if you won the entire tournament. So if you did not get the 20, it will take whatever you did get and it will be a percentage out of 20 for each fight. So basically, if you go to one fight and you get nothing, like you get one token, then that basically means you're a 1 out of 20, and that's your percentage, which is 5% winning rate. So, in order to be ranked in any circuit, you have to attend a minimum of 5 fights in that circuit, which would mean that you'd have to attend at least one night a week the entire season. So to be ranked, you have to attend 5 nights, and then you have a percentage of the total tokens possible is what your rankings are based off of. So, for example, if you go to 5 nights, which is the minimum, that's 20 tokens possible per night. So that's 100 tokens that you could have gotten. And so let's say you got 30, well, then you have a 30% win rate. And that puts you in a position on the board ranked at 30%. And then everybody else who's also in those season fights is going to be ranked the same way on a percentage. And so at the end of the season, it's based off of how well you do at the circuits you attend, not just a matter of going to a bunch of circuits and accruing a bunch of tokens. And this will also hopefully put some ease on the people who don't want to be in circuit fights because they're, unable to go to enough circuits to be able to compete or whatever the case is. It'll also make it so that people won't feel like they have to go to every single fight on the schedule to be able to compete. So that's the first change. The second change is more of a set of rules change. Um, there's been some things pointed out to me about how circuits run that people don't like, that some people don't care about, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to issue some statements that is a code of conduct request that I'm not going to necessarily enforce in any kind of punitive way, but there if it continues to be a problem, then it will turn into a situation where if you attend a circuit and you don't want to follow the accepted community guidelines, then you're not going to earn tokens for that circuit. Is going to be the first stage of punishments, but hopefully it won't come to that because hopefully everybody in this community understands that these rules are for the good of the community and follows them without being a dick. First set of rules are going to be regarding attire. I'd like it if people could dress so that they don't have their bits hanging out, so that things like showing up to a circuit fight with nothing but tape on your nipples and a small patch of something on your vagina, or with your banana hammock on full display or your giant schlong hanging around, it makes some people uncomfortable. We're not here to judge. We're not here to punish. We're not here to anything. It's just we're all here to have fun, and you don't need to be overtly sexual or anything like that to have a good time. So if we could just wear clothes like that you'd wear to, a job interview or your mom's house or, anywhere but the sex dungeon, that'd be great. So that's rule number one. Rule number two, if we could be more conscious of the fact that some people walk into these fights with 6,000 scripted attachments and when asked to maybe remove some of them, have a really, really bad attitude about it. Like some people just are like, well, go fuck yourself. I'm not taking my 18 penises off. That's not an appropriate way to approach this. We're all trying to have fun. When you have a lot of people on a region, no matter how good the region is, no matter how good I script things, there's going to be lag. And if we can mitigate that even a little bit by everybody agreeing that maybe you don't need your slapper, smacker, twister, nipple piercing, whatever you're wearing, if you just take the time to make a circuit outfit that you can change into that is low lag and doesn't have a bunch of scripted attachments, just so that while you're at the circuits, we can have the best experience for the community. Awesome. So that's number two. So, number one, again, for review, dress appropriately. Number two, don't wear 1,000 scripted items. It's unnecessary. I understand that there's people who struggle with their outfit setup, whatever the case may be. I understand there are people who have specific needs in regards to collars or things like that, or ownership, and cannot or can take certain things off. There's a whole world of understanding that we can, talk about and reach a conclusion. But there are also people that show up with 37 different flavors of spanker on, and none of that is necessary at the tournament. So if we could just make an outfit, and if you need help with this, plenty of people in the community will be more than helpful. Just make an outfit that is all the stuff you normally wear, and make another outfit that is just a basic setup for the circuit, so that when you go to a circuit, you could switch, everybody can have a good time, and you can switch back when you leave. That'd be great. So dress appropriately, take off your scripted crap. Third rule, don't be toxic. We are all adults. I work blue as much as anybody else. I swear I am a pervert. We all talk like we're adults. Sometimes there are people in the room that don't appreciate adult content, let alone extremely graphic, vulgar content. And that's where I'd like to make a distinction. There are two things I'd like to not see anymore when it comes to the way people behave at circuits. One, do not punch down. Don't insult people. Don't be harassing people. Don't be shitty to people. Some people will laugh in public and cry in private. There's no reason to be aggressive against somebody. Let's stop. So let's try to rein in our venomous insulting and things like that. I've seen it. It doesn't happen all the time, but I have seen it. Two, let's try to draw a line in the sand. There are certain things no one wants to hear about. Let's curb the extreme graphic stuff. Certain words, the catch us next Tuesday. Certain parts of the world, that's a completely acceptable word to let fly. Let's not let it fly at circuits if we can avoid it. Talking about your personal hygiene in regards to many parts of the human anatomy that nobody wants to know about. Let's leave that at home. Let's not talk about our anatomy in general, or more specifically, we can talk about anatomy in general, but let's not be specific. So there's a big difference between a innuendo about the blue balls versus literally saying something horrific about your urethra or your scrotum or your vagina or something like that. Like I know I'm trying to be demonstrative without being as graphic, but basically let's just leave the really filthy talk outside, because there are people who don't appreciate it, who just don't come to circuit fights anymore because somebody said something and they went holy hell and clutched their pearls and walked out the door. I get those messages. The rest of you don't hear it. So let's just try to always focus on everyone's trying to have fun, but not everyone in the room shares your opinion on what is an acceptable thing to wear, say, or do. So let's try to move closer to an R rating and further away from that NC-17 rating. Like that's where our headspace should be. Mature rated, not adult rated. if everyone there suddenly decided it's cool, we can be adults, we're on region number 5, everyone here knows each other, I still don't want it, because you create a habit, you create an acceptability, and then God forbid some new person TPs in at the wrong moment and hears something vile and goes, yo, I'm out. We don't want that. So that's my rules on decorum. Let's talk about, aside from the new ranking methodology, I also, and before anyone gets shitty at me, because you all are, a lot of you already have, I would like to try to set a 5-minute round timer at all circuits for at least a week. I want to see how it goes. If it goes very poorly, we will change it. But I would like everyone to at least be willing to try. Every single professional combat sport on the planet has a round timer. They have a round limit. They have time limits and time frames the fight needs to happen in. Now, I understand there are certain people who may have 2, 3 hours to kill and really love fighting. That is not an everybody thing. Some people really want to go to circuits, but they don't have 2.5, 3 hours to sit there and watch it happen, especially in situations where they're newer and they're out in the first round and done, and then they're waiting 3 hours for the second circuit to fight in. That's not a cool way to be. So, and to that note, when people leave early from circuit fights because they don't have all night to sit there, we need to be more understanding as a community, because there are a lot of community members that are offended at people not hanging out until the end. I understand. I'm not saying it's wrong. I understand that if you go to an event, you're expected to be at the event. But there are also people who can only be at the event for X amount of time because it cuts into their sleep schedule or whatever reason. So let's all try to just be less aggressive about our opinions and understand that other people have other situations and we're all just trying to have fun. That is not to say I'm picking a side in the argument. It is just to say that everybody walks a different path. So let's all just not be shitty to each other if we can avoid it. So I want to try a 5-minute timer. I know there's a lot of people against the idea. I'm just asking that we let it happen. I want to see it happen for at least that first week. I know that it's going to be hard because the first week's 3 and 4, I think, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, thank you. So the first week is 3 and 4, so it should be a little bit better with it being 3 and 4s. I know it's going to be difficult because first week everybody's got a younger animal, everybody's got not a very highly trained animal, so the fights are going to drag. They always do that first week, even though we have low health, we also have low training. Sometimes those fights, especially the 1s and 2s, take forever. So I'd like to just feel out if 5 minutes is enough. If it's not, I'll add 10 minutes to the board. I will not go higher than a 10-minute round timer, but I think 10 minutes is more than enough. But I think 5 minutes should get the point across. Yes, there are fights that at 5 minutes, maybe if there was 2 more minutes, that animal could have turned it around. That's why I'm asking for everyone's patience and everyone's open mind to just try it. I want to see how it goes, because I added the timer to the boards like 2.5 years ago and nobody's even touched them. And I asked some regions to try it and they caught a lot of negative feedback. So I'm just asking for you guys to understand that if there's a time limit, it's because I asked there to be one. And if you have an issue, direct it to me, because there's very little that happens as far as circuit fights go that I don't always find out about. And if I'm asking for a time limit to be implemented, it's basically because I feel like it could change things. I'm looking at it being part of the strategy, part of the excitement. I'm trying to, feel out how where a time would be that makes the fights fun, exciting, strategic. Because if you're talking about a professional boxing match, the time really is important. And yeah, and some people have shit to do. And to the people who say they want more fighting than that time limit's going to allow, I would encourage you to talk to your favorite region owner and ask them to run extra fights. You can have regular elder fights any damn time a region owner wants to. I've told all the region owners this. I support any kind of team battles, elder fights, whatever you want to do, get together as a community and figure out where everybody's going to have it when, because there's always room for fights. There's always going to be the wild. Fights can happen anytime, any region with a board. I mean, if you guys want, I can build a way to add people to my board, and you could just come and do fights whenever you want. I will have to remove the ability for you to do a circuit fight, so you're not sneaking tokens in there. But whatever, it's a thing. It's a possibility. I just want everybody to understand that there's always room for a conversation. If there's a part of Chimeras that doesn't make you happy, or there's something missing from your Chimera experience that you wish was there, all you got to do is file a ticket. Send me an IM. Hit me up on Discord. Let me know, because I'm building this for you guys, not for me. I don't even get to play the shit. I don't give a fuck what you want. As long as you tell me what you want, I will give it to you as best as I can. I always have. So that's really all it comes down to. Is right now I have a unique perspective, because I have a bird's eye view on everybody's situation with all of the fighters and all the people involved in circuits. And I want to see if things get better or worse with a 5-minute round timer. And then if we move it up to a 10-minute round timer, does it change the thing for everybody? Is basically where I'm at. Is I want to feel like I just want to try new things. I want to try altering things. When I do the next update, I am for sure going to do some more balance changes to the combat. So for right now, I know a lot of people are frustrated with certain types of builds, certain ways things are programmed. There's been bugs with elements just flat out not working. There's been the staring competition things that we witnessed earlier today. Even there are still a lot of things to iron out in the combat, and even with that, it's still the best breedable combat system on the grid. So I'm working my ass off to try to make it better always. I'm always trying to make one more step forward. And that's all any of this is. I'm not trying to create rules to punish people. I'm trying to move the community together forward so that we can bring Chimeras back to a higher bar. We can bring more people into Chimeras. We can have more fun. We can do more events. I really want to bring back things like the racing. I have the dueling system I'm working on. There's a lot of stuff that's coming, and I don't get to work on it as much as I'd like to when I have to deal with silly disputes or hurt feelings or broken this or messed up that, or he called me silly and she pulled my hair, and like, let's put the kindergarten stuff away. Like, we don't need it. Nobody wants it. We all can get along. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason. And now with everything in the circuits being a percentage of win versus how it's been, you can attend your, you know, 5 circuits a season and be ranked and be competitively ranked. And like I said, I tested these rankings with last season's numbers, and it completely rewrote who was the MVP, who was the top in all 4 circuits. It's going to be different, but it's going to be more accurate to how well you're doing in circuits, and not just about how many circuits you can go to. So that is the big thing. I just want, you know, uh, dress code, behave better, um, time limit on rounds, and now the percentage versus total tokens. That's the end of all of what I wanted to tell everybody. I'm announcing it this way so that no one can say, "Oh, I didn't know," or any of that sort of stuff. So now, if you have a question, you can ask it in group, in local, on voice, in the YouTube chat. I think if we have anybody in the YouTube chat, yeah, we got 3 people watching on YouTube. So if you want to ask there, anywhere you want to ask, I am open. The floor is yours.
Oi, ask.
I was gonna say, fucking crickets. Everybody had a lot of questions, and I
Yes.
said some shit. Nobody's got to say anything.
I don't have any.
It's
That
okay. It's
all
a safe
sounded
space.
good to me.
I do have a
It's a
quick.
safe space, huh?
What? Wait, we have a question. Who? Speak
Okay,
up.
so if we're doing the 5 timer, how do you who's the winner?
I'm sorry, you're cracking up back there. What? Say again.
Hold on.
Speak directly into the mic. that
If
that joke
we
doesn't play if people don't know my name is Mike, dude. Does it?
doing the 5-minute timers, how are we going to know the winner?
the board automatically does it. When you set a timer on the board, it picks whoever has the most health as the winner.
With the 5 she want?
I'll just type it out.
What? Is it just me, or am I the problem, or is she the problem? What are we doing here?
Hold on, I can't hear. Hold on. I can't hear.
I think she's having little issues.
It's okay.
That's a question for you.
Okay. I'll just type it out.
Okay.
I think on her end.
Yeah. But, no.
Somebody's hanging out in a wind tunnel.
That would probably be me right now. Texas heat.
I typed the question
Oh,
before
just
you.
for saying,
Yeah, I hear that too.
since Firestorm has updated, I end up wearing object and losing my clothes a lot more lately. Don't think I'm doing it on purpose. I try and fix the problem as fast as I can.
That's fine. I mean, nobody's going to punish you because your viewer had an issue. Like, let's be clear here. There's a difference between because all of us land somewhere naked. Let's be honest. Nobody's going to go, oh, fuck, your tits were hanging out for 5 seconds. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? There's a big difference between a technical error versus literally like, nobody who is present here, but there have been people in the past who have shown up incredibly poorly dressed, and I have gotten IMs about it in the past. Yeah, I mean, if you have a situation where like your shit disappeared on you and you put it back on, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about there have been times in the past. Oh, also region owners, we're gonna have a chat about any region that runs a Chimera event that has seating. I expect no adult poses in your seats, please.
Oh.
We don't like sitting down on chairs and having our neighbor and our friend or a perfect stranger suddenly sucking our dick. Let's be clear. No more adult seating at public events. If your seats have adult options, you must remove them, or I will remove you from the tournaments. I'm putting my fucking foot down on that. There's no reason we need to have adult seating, and that includes my seating. I'm not sure. I don't think it does, but we will be checking. Well, I don't like it. I don't want random strangers on my dick. You don't want random people sucking your dick, Calypso?
Yeah, I said I don't like it because I don't want to
Oh.
neck with a
All right.
friend.
We understand
I
that.
have adult poses
right.
on my entire stem for that reason.
Well, and that's the thing, is that there are some people that have gotten upset because they've been adulted on accident, and that shit stops now. And the regions who have adult posed furniture know who they are. We're going to have all that shit pulled out. I don't even, let's be real. Most of us don't even want to sit in a chair when we go places. We can stand. We can sit, like, let's do beach blankets. Just put a bunch of blankets out with no scripting in them, and everybody can sit on the blankets. That way we save on scripts. We say everybody can still sit on the ground next to each other. That's a good solution, in my opinion. But anyway, no more adult seating at my fucking circuits. That's I'm tired of walking in a room and seeing people playing fucking vagina hockey, and it's like, no.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my.
I was the only, like, in my mind that sounded like less vulgar than what I was gonna say, and it came out really awful anyway. But I'm trying to get back to what Electra's question was.
There.
I answered her. I don't know if she saw it. She wanted.
Okay.
How do you know who the winner
With
is?
the timer, you have, when you set a 5-minute timer, it's got a 300-second countdown that shows on the board during the fight. When that hits 0, whichever Chimera has more health wins. Oof. Done. There's no rocket science to it. It's not brain surgery.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I double checked because it was pointed out to me when I had asked Mac to run timers on some of their fights over there last season, and when they did, the timer worked. Asen gave me a very, very well documented report about the inadequacy of the timer on the boards, and basically it was running for like the first fight or two. Anytime there was a fight that did not end because of a run out of time scenario, like a fight that lasted less than 5 minutes, broke the timer and it stopped working for the rest of the fight. So I fixed that. So every fight should have a timer on the board that you can see counting down. And the countdown doesn't start until the first hit. So until a Chimera gets hit, the timer hasn't started. That way you don't have to worry
Well,
about that
that's
whole
good.
wind up part being, taken away from your timer. Because that can take, 20,
Like when
30
they're sitting
seconds.
staring at
Right.
each other.
So until first blood is drawn, the timer doesn't start. Any other questions, comments, moments of concern, compliments about my tie?
You have a tie?
We're tied here, but secondary question is, what's the mode of operation you want us to?
Jason had a question. Vocal.
Yeah, we're working on that.
The timer breaks during a fight.
Yeah, okay. So if the timer doesn't work, let me know immediately. And if it's during your fight as a region owner, if you're running a show and the timer just does not work, forget about it. Just ignore it. Go about business as usual, and then tell me. And after that, I will sit down and figure out what went wrong, and we'll fix it or we'll ditch it. Is bottom line. If it's not going to work, it's going to be because I did something wrong. So if you run into a situation where the timer craps out, cool. The rest of your fights don't have a timer. If your patrons at that particular circuit fight, if you're like halfway through the board and they're like, well, that's not fair, ask the community what they want to do. If they want to restart the entire thing, I'm cool with it. If they don't care, I'm also cool with it. If people feel like they got disadvantaged by the fact that their fights were timed and the rest weren't, and they really get pissed about it, cancel the fight. Just cancel it outright, send them all home, and tell them to come bring their complaints to me, because that is what I'm telling you to do right now. So that should cover every situation that might come up.
Now, if the board restarts in the middle of the fight, you need to be aware of that because that factors in on the tokens and stuff, right?
The token records don't get recorded until the fight's complete. So if it's interrupted at any point before completing, it doesn't record any token victory counts or anything. So if
Okay,
you
good to know.
stop a board before it's done, we're good. If you
Okay.
are on the middle board, or if like the left board, like you're doing a multi-board and the left board is finished but the right board isn't, or the middle board is where it fucks up, then I need to know, because every board records its own individual data. So if you have any board that gets to completion, I need to know about it. I need to know about if there's an error anyway, but if you have to remind me to remove token records, then that's the situation it would occur under.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Oh,
basically,
yeah.
Like,
In regards to the single board versus the multi-board, in the past, I've left it up to the discretion of the region owners. I know that if you do a multi-board with a low count of people, then a lot of the people who are there get less tokens than they would if it was on a single board, which is why I've told people that they should do a single board instead of multi-board. But a lot of people get pissed when you do a single board because they don't want to wait that long. Again, with the timers, that might not be so much of an issue. The single board can handle up to a 16-person competition. I would recommend that if you have 16 people, you should be doing it on one board. If you have 16 people and you're doing a middle of the night fight that maybe there's some people who don't want to stick around for it, as long as they knew ahead of time that you were doing a single board, they have no box to bitch on. So my recommendation would be to tell people ahead of time when you're spamming your events or scheduling it or wherever you got to put it, tell them whether it's going to be a single or multiple board so that they don't come in blind. And when they bitch about how long it's taking, they don't have any right to bitch because they knew how long it would be if it was a single or double board. If you want to set a hard rule for your region specifically, or anybody who runs a region, and say, if we have X amount, it'll be single, X amount past that's double, I'm fine with that. But I like to
I was
let
just
the
getting ready to ask
regions
a
be in
question about that.
charge. Right. Like if you guys want to spam out saying, here's our preference for whether we do single or double, this is what we're doing tonight, this is what we're doing next week, whatever the case may be, then by all means create that set of rules. Because personally, I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to single versus multi. The multi-boards existed originally because we always had more than 16 people. But now that it's not, because even when you hit 17 people, it's automatically going to be eight on one and 9 on the other. So it's never going to be 2 full boards unless you have 32 people show up. So if there's a better way that you guys would like to see that laid out, fine. I know that some people don't like single boards with certain odd numbers because that means one person gets a free ride all the way to the final round. I've heard that before. So again, I'm going to leave it to the discretion currently of the region owners who are running their circuits. If a region owner running a circuit starts getting a lot of bad reports from its customers, or if they come to me and say I'd rather it was this way, or if it becomes controversial in any way, I will make a guideline for the entire community to follow, and that will just be the rule for everyone. I don't want to do that because I like variety, and I know that it's a very different creature when you're doing a 3 o'clock in the afternoon fight versus an 11:30 p.m. fight. There's a different group of people that go to those fights. There's a different feel and a different environment and a different setting of rules for those fights. That's how I want it to stay. I want people to have that flexibility to be able to cater to their crowd.
Makes complete sense.
Any other questions, comments, moments of concern? I'll put on a tie if you'll compliment me.
Fucks.
I didn't check Discord. Anybody
No,
ask anything on the
it
Discord? I see
sounds
nope, nothing on
good.
fucking Discord.
I mean, I kind of like the changes about the way the system
Let's
works
see.
with the tokens and all that.
Yeah. No, I like, because I really scratched my head about it, because looking at the numbers, it always feels a
Right.
little weird that, you know, it's just about straight up token gains. And
It was.
there have been a lot of
Instead
people, a lot of people in the
Yeah.
past pointed out to me too, it's not fair, because believe it or not, Yaz was the first one to bring it up to me, and he had a valid point, as much as I don't want to admit it. His point was, when there's a bunch of late night fights that have 2 or 3 people showing up, those 2 or 3 people are just getting handed a bunch of tokens,
Right.
and it's not fair to the people who don't want to be up all night. And at the
Right.
time, my solution was, if you didn't have a certain amount of people attend a fight, then it didn't give you as many tokens, which I think was a poor way to handle it. And I stopped immediately. Like, that lasted what, like not even a full season, where I was doing it based on attendance.
Yeah.
I went out the window pretty quick, because it was just not it wasn't a good solution. But this, where it's done based off of percentage, like your actual winning ratio, that I think is a
Right.
lot more accurate and a lot more
I do
fair.
too.
It's way more forgiving, because now people who have been killing themselves to be at every single fight, you just got to hit 5. Just got to do 5. Now,
Yeah.
for clarity, if you are registered in C1, 2, 3, and 4, that means 5 C1s, 5 C2, 5 C3, 5 C4. You don't get ranked in a circuit that you don't attend 5 in. So if you do 5 C1, you're ranked in C1. If you do 3 C4, you are not ranked in C4.
But that's for the entire season.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's over the 10 weeks. So
Right.
that's one circuit per, like, basically, if you go every Friday night, you're good. Yes, Asher, it was a very different time. The late nights we were talking about were a different beast. There was a time where late nights had a really hard time getting people to show up.
Yeah, I can't do the late night ones. That's
Why we can't have nice things?
I know. 'Cause you break them, mister.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay, Sasha asks, what happens if you go to the fights but don't win any of them?
Well, no matter what, you're going to get the 1 token per fight. So even if you don't win a single fight, if you are attending your 5, that's 100 possible tokens, and you got, 5 total. So you have 5% win ratio. So because it's not technically about your Chimera winning, it's more about how many tokens you won versus how many you could have won, which is still better than what you would have been at, which is 5 tokens, compared to somebody who, like, if you think about it this way, it lowers that gap, because if you go to an entire season and you don't win at all, right? Let's say you went to your minimum, your 5. So if you go to 5 C1s, you have 5 tokens. If somebody went to 100 C1s and they lost every single one, they have 100 tokens. But they could have had 200 or 20 times 100. They could have had 2,000. So they have 100 out of 2,000, which is 5%. And you have 5 out of 100, which is 5%. You see what I'm saying? Like, it levels it out. Whereas before, they would have been way higher ranked than you. Now you're at the same level. Because it doesn't matter. If you go to every fight, the entire season, every single possible fight you could have gone to, but you just get 1 token. You're one and done every fight. You're at 5%. Same as somebody who went to 5 only and got 1 at every fight, 5%. So it levels it out to be performance based, not attendance based. Do you see? Does that make sense? And that way it makes it fair, because if you went to every single fight, but you didn't do anything except lose in the first round, it doesn't matter if you went to 5 or 500, you still at a 5%, because it's a ratio. So if you go to 6 fights and you win your 6th one, you're ranked higher than somebody who went to 100 and lost every one of them. Whoa. What do we got on the time on this chat here? I don't know where YouTube tells me how long I've been streaming for anymore, because it's got this weird thing popped up. Here we go. 16, almost 17 minutes is the average duration. That's not how long it's been going for, though, is it? I don't know how to do any of this stuff. It looks like I've been going for a little over a half an hour. And the average watch time is 16 minutes. Somebody didn't watch the first half or left after the first half. That's fine. Nobody loves me. I get it. We're coming up on 40 minutes. All right, so 40 minutes in,
37 minutes.
I think I've overspoken. Someone did not social post this. Well, I've been telling people all week that I was going to do it if they didn't tune in after the circuit fights were over.
No, but someone didn't post it out to his
Maybe
audience.
somebody didn't want a large crowd of people yelling at him and hopes they can just watch it on the VOD after the fact and then bitch at me, where I can ignore it for a little bit and tend to my precious fragile ego.
Well, Damien, it's as simple as you put a notice out there that it was happening. If people don't want to watch it, that's their problem.
Well,
They can't
Asen's
complain
point
when
is
they
more
say
that I
they don't
didn't
know
put a
the
notice
rules.
specifically when this started, giving them a link. I didn't hold their hand and walk them over here.
No. When the champions come up, I share the link out to my Patreons to support my
Oh,
other
you mean like
podcast.
actual social media?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
Lordy. We tried that. That was a decade ago, and we failed. That flamed out. I don't do actual social media. I
No, you don't.
I don't
Okay,
like it.
I gotta go. Thank you for the fights, Damien, and thank you for
You're
telling us
welcome.
all the stuff. I will see everybody tomorrow.
All right.
I don't want to know about Asen's
Later,
Fansly.
Flipso.
Jousting tomorrow. Don't we have that?
All right. Well, I'm gonna tie this stream in a knot and call it done, because I don't think anybody really has any more questions about what I was talking about. So
No, but it's a way that we can get either a Discord calendar or a Google calendar that I will take responsibility of putting events on, because there's
we
like
actually have one in the
Battles and
works.
Jesses, and
Yeah,
we
we
have
want to
jousting
create.
tomorrow and elder fights and shark battles.
Right. We want to create a community calendar. It's something I used to have, but we're trying to figure out how to stop people from backdooring their bullshit onto my Google Calendar. So when I figure out how to do that, there will be one.
That's easy. You appoint an agent, i.e., the region owners, and only the region owners can post into that calendar.
Right. And that was the problem, is that the region owners were the ones doing the shady shit. Like, all right, let me end the stream. Thank you for coming, Ed.